Rams TV meets Roger Davies. Roger, here's your start of 10. Which was the most impressive to you? 5 goals against Luton Town on Easter Monday, as Derby went on to win the league for the second time, or the hat-trick at White Hart Lane in the FA Cup 4th round, I think it was, with Derby trailing 3-1, game went into extra time, and a young Roger Davies is the hero with the hat-trick. Which is the more impressive in the Roger Davies book?
I think overall, from what it got and what it meant, it's got to be the Tottenham game. That was a replay game, obviously, from the game on the Saturday. We played really well, but found ourselves 3-1 down. And we just kept on going, and things just worked out. I got 1, and I got 2, and it was actually 3 goals, one after the other, and we won 5-3 in the end. And I just think that got so much publicity, and so many people now still talk to me and say, I was there at Tottenham. A lot of other people say they'd left.
I was going to say, missed the last train.
And ready to go. But it was a really special night, and yeah. And the five is, it's amazing that after you finish playing football, you realise what you've achieved. To score 5 goals it's like a Premier League, it's the first division. To score 5 goals in one game is, I thought it's quite an achievement. And to think, as people know, I always say, 2 disallowed, and hit the post. It would work twice. So it could have been 7, it could have been 9. To have one game like that in your career is incredible.
We'd like to show the goals from it. Unfortunately, they just don't exist. In fact, all we've got is the front page of the Derby Evening Telegraph football special. 5-goal Davies joins select band in Rams Hall of Fame. 5 goals in an afternoon. This was Easter Saturday, yeah. And then went to Burnley and beat them 5-2, 5-2, whichever it was, and that was the championship round the corner.
It was a massive weekend, as you say. They look how they play now and what they do. We played Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, 3 games in 4 days, and which was home was 5-0 Luton, away at Burnley, who were contesting themselves as well. They were up there, and we got a good win there. Then we played Man City at home on the Tuesday night and won 2-1. And picking up 6 points over an Easter period, does bode well for finishing and winning the title.
Because it was only 2 points for a game.
It was only 2 points for a win, so didn't make a difference. But getting 6 points over the Easter period really strengthened our grip.
Just on the hat-trick at Tottenham, didn't Brian buy your good lady a bunch of flowers the following day?
Did. Strange things in that game. Lots of people never realise that was Terry Ennis's ever last appearance.
Really?
For Derby County. He came off at half time. He said he was injured, something like that. Terry. He's saying I'm coming off. Brian said, you're not. He's saying he's injured. You're coming off. And the funny part about that is, Brian looks at him and said, you can't come off. We've only got him. Pointed at Alan Durban. So Alan Durban goes, who's he talking about? But he did make the change, and Terry did come off, and he never played for Derby again. Obviously, everything that goes with it, we come back to Derby. I've got press ringing me up forever, but as I got the coach, Brian said, don't speak to anybody, as he was. And some guy rang me up, I forgot what paper it was, and said, can we do an interview about the game? I said, no, I'm not allowed to. Brian has said not to speak to anybody. Obviously, just let it go. He said, well, I'll do the interview. I said, how naive I am. I'll do the interview, then I'll contact Brian and say, is it okay to do it?
Never trust a journalist, Rog.
Exactly. So he never contacted him, and he printed it anyway. And Brian just had a little go at me. I think it was naivety that let him do it. Yes, but he did buy my wife a bunch of flowers, yeah. As he would. That's the sort of things he would do.
The ball behind you, that's the ball, and Mitre Max, that's a proper football, with all the stitching, none of this fancy nonsense anyway. That's the actual ball from the Easter Saturday 5-0. That's the
5-0 ball, and it is the real ball, because we didn't have multi-balls in those days. When it went out, you wait for it to come back. And that's the ball that I got the 5. It's signed by all the players who played in that game as part of it. It's by Des and Dave and all the players. And even now, thinking of doing this, that's the first time I've seen it for a long, long time. It's like a lot of footballers do. We gather all this memorabilia and our trophies and stuff, and it finished up in your loft. It's all together, it was there. But it was nice to see it again, and it has good memories for me, that particular ball.
Is it a bit frustrating there is no film footage of the
five
goals?
Yeah, they've got, you can see the 3, you can see that's on YouTube, and you can see the miss at Chelsea. I look at that one regularly.
I wasn't going to mention that one.
Just I will keep looking to see if I do score eventually, but I don't. So yeah, it has come about. It's a shame it's not. I've seen them. I haven't seen them at all actually, because I keep thinking back to the Tottenham game. No, I haven't seen them, but it would have been. And I'm trying to remember what they were, the goals. And when I remember the plays. You know, I saw a few weeks ago. I was at shopping and I bumped into Bucko because he was playing in the Luton side in that era. Steve Buckley, Steve Buckley. He was playing in it. But it's just one of those things, wasn't it? You go and it happens. And so there's another ball on there. Say it's from the States. I got a 4. So you know, whatever. I did score now and again. If people ever question it.
All right, let's deal with the Chelsea miss. When was it? It was at Stamford Bridge. Can you remember it vividly?
Very, very much so. In fact, I can remember how the goals worked. I mean, I was not instrumental, a part of the first goal because the ball went out to play. I picked it up quickly, threw it into John O'Hare and went through, and he got a bit of a rebound. And John scored. We won 1-up away at Stamford Bridge. Ozzy scored equaliser for them later in the game, and it was towards the end of the game that I was put through, and I went through, and John Phillips was in goal, not Benetti. John Phillips was in goal, and as I went through, I went past him, round him. I'm going to have a tap in, and it like bobbles, and I catch it with my other foot, and it like just rolls away from it. I didn't actually shoot at goal and miss. I've caught it in his gun, and it rolls past the post. And it's like I can remember turning around. And I was looking. John Phillips was on the floor, and I thought, shall I kick him? You know, I anger and frustration. Anyway, we went on 1 each, and back in the dressing room, Clough is like, "What happened?" I said, "Well, I got round him. I said, I thought I'd scored." Never, you know, a bit louder. You never thought you've scored until the ball's in the net, and it was another part of a learning curve.
Okay, let's roll back the years now and talk about a young Roger Davies, because when you finished football, you had a proper job. Worked at Rolls-Royce for quite a while. And I read somewhere that before you went into football, you worked in engineering before?
Yeah, when I left, I was one of those lads growing up, a lot different now to academies around and spread, you know, kids playing football. As I grow up, I was playing immense football at 14 and 15 because there was nowhere else to play.
Were you always this tall?
I was not this tall, no, I was born, no. I was always tall, and believe it, I was pretty quick in that era. As you grow, you know, people go. You know, you talk about, I have to tell people about, you know, they talk about kids in school now. My stats in my last year, my junior school, was playing for the team. We played 12, won 12, 74 against 71 against 4, of which I scored 51.
51?
In 12 games.
Amazing, you remember it from a fair few years
ago. Yeah,
but
you do, you remember a figure like that. 51 goals in 12 games. I started off I used to get paid by my dad and my uncle in 6 months a goal. And I started off with 9, 6, 3. So that was 18 goals in 3 games, and they stopped paying me after that. But yeah, I did an apprenticeship. There was always clubs coming in for me. Strange things was, I played at Wolves in their 3rd and 4th team. I mean, Oxford, I remember them coming in. Teams came, but I used to enjoy playing with these lads on Saturday afternoons, and you went and played with young apprentices, and I didn't really enjoy it that much, I must admit. So I kept on playing. I went to play at Bridge North, which was first time I'd ever played at a higher level. And from Bridge North I went to Worcester City, which was the first time ever I got paid for playing football. Thinking, what's all this about? Somebody wants to pay you for playing football. And I only played the 7 games for Worcester. Again, you tell people about things that happen in your life. We were training on a Thursday night at St George's Park, as it was for Worcester City, and who comes walking around, just strolling down the side of the ground? Brian Clough, on his own. Now, how many managers in this day and age would go out to a non-league club, you know, semi-pro, and be walking into the ground, and you can see all the players looking at him. I didn't realise who it was at first. And he goes and chats with our directors and obviously sets something up. But to do something like that and just turn up, and this was all on Peter say so, because you find out after it was Peter who had been to watch me play. But yeah, I'd done engineering, I did my apprenticeship, so I got something in case it doesn't work, you fall back on. And after my career, I did what a lot of people have done, and went and did 25 years at Rolls-Royce.
And that's incredible, because you have a full football career, And then you have a full daytime job career.
The football has never ever gone away, not from the point of view. I've always been involved in football, even when I was doing. I kept on playing and playing and playing for a long, long time, at all different levels. Even, you know, it was like the Derby League on Saturday afternoons. I just loved playing, but eventually came back to Derby, started doing some stuff through Colin Tunnicliffe, taking my lads to games a long time ago. I remember when Igor's time, I remember going to watch us play Grimsby at home, and there's less than 10,000. It's that time, you know, then before we just went on the 20-match run after the Tranmere game. So I got back in. But I must admit, you know, Derby people and Rolls-Royce, synonymous. That's the word.
Yeah.
And it was really enjoyable. It was, and obviously going into a place like Rolls-Royce, more people knew me than I knew. And I really enjoyed it. And regardless of whatever, it's a great place to work, and it's good for Derby. But, you know, I'm glad that my dad did encourage me to finish my apprenticeship and go there, because there's always something there.
We'll talk about Royce's more in a little while. So let's go back to Worcester City. Clough is there then chatting to the directors, his favourite people in football. Yeah. And before you know it, you're a Derby County player.
Well, I got a phone call. I was at work. I was at the place I used to work in Wolverhampton, and it was to say, you've got to report. It was the Worcester directors. Can you meet us outside the Molyneux, which is Wolves ground? I think it was 6:30 or something. We're going out to Derby. They're interested in signing you. So my dad and myself and my dad went to the Molyneux. The directors picked us up. We went to Derby, which I hadn't really got a clue where it was, if I'm honest. I didn't realise it was so close. And you were playing Dundee or Dundee United in the Texaco Cup.
Texaco Cup, yeah.
That was the game. So I went to that. After the game, Brian went in with the directors, talked about doing the deal. He'd said hello to myself and my dad. Give my dad another whiskey. My dad was having too many of them by the time. And he came back into us and said, yeah, okay, he said, have you done your bit of the business? Have you done your bit? You know, this is somebody's coming out of non-league football, you know what he's talking about. Have you done your deal? So what do you mean? I don't know. Have you arranged what you're going to get? I said, no. And he said, well, I'll tell him you're not signing until they've looked after you. So you do a little bit of business, nothing you know what you're doing. All you're more concerned about is you're going to join a professional football club. And it was done all in one night after that game. And on the following Saturday, I played against West Bromwich Albion in the Central League. And that was my first step really into professional football.
Do you remember what your first weekly wage was?
When I came here, I was on about, what was I thinking, 40 quid, £40 a game, a week, something like that.
Yeah.
But there was bonuses tapped in, especially even in the reserves. There was, there was a long time where players played with a basic appearance, bonuses, you know, even going down, if you want to get into it later, we get through where we were when we won the championship. You know, I often tell people who talk about it was, you'd have your basic, wherever you'd done your deal. We'd have appearance, so if you were playing, you got more. So this thing about now, if it's fit or not, you wanted to play because it's got more. And we also had a positional, not a win bonus, ours was positional in the league. 1 or 2 was 50 quid, 3 or 4 was 45, and it went down to 10th. And Clough said, if you're below that, you don't deserve anything.
Fair enough.
But the part of getting your basic, you see, this thing about players don't do this anymore. With first year had finished, we'd won the Central League, you know, we'll go to that later. First team had won the First Division. Everybody got a chance, you know, contracts are going to be done again, it would be okay. So we all used to turn up, sit in the dressing room. The dressing room was full. And you say, you know, you're going to do a new contract, what would you do? And the lad said, well, you walk down into the office, knock on the door, go in, say, I think I've had a good season, do I deserve a rise? So you go down with Peter Taylor and Brian. So it was my turn to go. I remember going down the corridor, knock on the door, come in, stand. So you're getting yourself all ready to what you're going to say. And he said, Peter and I have just been discussing whether to give you a drop or not. And they offer you this, you go, and you're out the door. And that's how it worked. But the guy was incredible. He did look after you.
Just on that first season, as you think you've just mentioned, First Division champions, which we now these days call, of course, Premier League champions, Central League winners, when the Reserve League really
Of course,
meant
good.
something.
Oh,
I remember Derby playing Liverpool in front of, I think, 20-odd thousand at the baseball ground.
We had some tremendous, and the team, Carl, you know, I think about the team that was playing out there. There was myself, there was Jeff Bourne, there was Barry Butlin, there was Peter Daniel, Tony Bailey, Jimmy Walker, Graham Mosley. You know, that team was a really strong team that was playing out there. And the thing I liked about that was always about, if you do well in that, you have your chance to step up. And I don't know whether that exists anymore like it used to. If there's injuries, you get into the squad. You know, because it was like small numbers, it was more like 12, never anymore, because there's only one sub. And you get your chance. And for me, the Central League, we really did well. Wasn't the best of starts they'd had. Then we just won, and we just steamrolled teams after that. And we were winning comfortably. I remember we played. Was it Coventry? Somebody, I think it was Coventry or Bolton. Bolton at home. We won on down after about 2 minutes, and we won 6-1. You know, we used to steamroll sides, and we really had good results. This was John Sheridan was coaching, part of Brian's coaching staff. So that was brilliant. And the one part, the great part of it was, because the first team had won the first division, we were taken in with that as well. So all the tours around the streets we did on the coaches and all the presentations, as reserves, we were there with it. And, you know, they just put us part of it, which was great. And obviously, we also won the Texaco Cup that year. And that was when, I had my first step up from playing in the reserves to playing in the Texaco Cup final.
Somewhere I've got a Texaco Cup sticker at home. I don't know where it is and where I got it from. So the Texaco Cup, just remind us, eventually you played, was it? Airdrie in the
two-legged final,
yeah.
Yeah. I didn't play in the away one because they'd gone. I mean, we're talking a Texaco Cup, which is like nothing really cup. But Derby always put a strong side out in whatever they were playing. And the reason I played in the second leg, it was international. So John O'Hare was away, I think Archie was away. So the side wasn't our players, and we played them in the second leg. I got my chance to play. And myself and Barry Butlin played, and I mean, Barry crossed it for me. I scored in that game. I scored a header, and we won. And so that was my first introduction into first team football.
I think we've got a photograph of it somewhere. We'll have a look at that in a little while. So that was the first goal at first team level for Derby.
Yeah.
Special.
Yeah, of course it was. Yeah, and the game was on television as well. So you suddenly gone from non-league to on a television. I got booked as well by Jack Taylor, who's from Wolverhampton, who knew me anyway from whatever, and I just think he booked me on purpose. But yeah, it was great. It's my first trophy, my first goal, and the thing about that, my Central League career had gone well. You know, I got quite a few goals, and it had gone better than I probably ever thought. And it's funny, you come from non-league and you go into football, and there's no guarantee it's going to work out for you, because I saw lots who came and went. I was fortunate that it would work for me.
So Derby were First Division champions, Central League champions, and as we say, Texaco Cup winners. So that meant being First Division champions, European football. Unthinkable, but European football at the baseball ground. Benfica, one of the visitors, brushed aside 3-0.
I remember the Benfica game, or the first starting. We'd had training, I'd gone home. We were training as normal. I'd gone home, and I got a phone call at home that I got to report back to go to Lee Green to join it with the first team for the Benfica European game, to be part of that squad. So suddenly again, you've gone a season a bit. You've gone from Worcester City to playing in the European Cup against Benfica.
One of the big names in European football.
And you know, you talk to lots of people, they will remember that night, especially against Benfica, as one of the most special nights in Derby's football. And the result went well. And there's a story that, you know, the pitch, he's watching the pitch again, Clough. Benfica all turn up in their suits and shoes and everything and looking really smart. He said they walk out, and by the time they've got to it's over the top of their shoes. Clough is saying, we've beat them already. You know, this is like the great Eusebio coming to Derby. It was incredible. And that year, that run and being part of that squad that went through the European Cup was phenomenal.
It ended in disappointment, and I guess personal disappointment for you, against Juventus. Tell us about the game in Turin. Bit of shenanigans?
Oh, well, I didn't play in the I injured my groin, and but I went with them and I did a fitness test and running. I remember played a lot of golf. I mean, sometimes gave him some stick. we took him out, and he's see how he goes. Went on the track and running down this track with they were training on the grass inside. And he was running. I just couldn't turn and whatever because it really hurt. So Guth went to Brian and said, "It's okay, straightforward. He can't turn." Brian said, "Who told him to turn?" So Guth got the stick for that, but I didn't play. So I sat on the bench, and there was some stuff went on. You know, the game's not been on that long. Roy and Archie's both been booked. Both been booked previously, so in the second leg, they're at the game. Didn't go well. And I think actually, really as well, when we did take the lead, I think we were still a bit go, maybe you learn, maybe that's how we played in those days, but maybe we would have shut up shop a little bit and took what we, took something back. But we still thought we got a good chance of getting a result. And now, I think Alan gets the penalty and scores the penalty, suddenly it's 3-2. And then we just need one more goal and we would have got through, but as I said, I got sent off. And I'll still say, if Alan had scored the penalty, I don't think I would have got sent off. But it's the most frustrating ever football I'd ever had in my life, because it brought into the game that things we're seeing now that are in our game that were never there. Francesco Marini is a centre-back, and the centre-back was marking me, and he was doing stuff I've been used to getting kicked. That was part of our game. But every time I moved, he'd pull my shirt, he'd hold me, he'd block me. He was doing all this stuff was just frustrating. And when he'd pull your shirt, we didn't have that in our game. It's what just drove me mad. I caught hold of him once, I gave him a bit of a nudge, and he still came back. And Alan missed the goal, something else happened. I did this stupid thing of the head. Didn't headbutt him, but I put my head, and he goes down and makes the most of it. Got sent off. And that really did let the team down. Whether we got the goal or not, I don't know. But again, Brian said to me, "You've cost us the European Cup," which really made me feel a lot better. Obviously, in the 2 weeks fine as well for it. So it was costly, but it's more costly. Even again, one of these things after the event, years on, you look back and think how close we were as Derby County to get into a European Cup final. Just a penalty away maybe.
Because Kevin's goal in Turin, I think, was the first English player to score against an Italian side on their home ground certainly in European Cup competitions.
Yeah, I'm sure it was, yeah.
That's the stat. So it, as you say, it gave you a fighting chance, but there was all the shenanigans about Peter Taylor going in there, being arrested by the Italian police.
It was Helmut
Haller, the former German international. Speaking
to the German referee, and Pete's going on, and the next minute we know, Pete comes flying into the dressing room, running right the way through and back into the other side. The police are after him or whatever. And there's another picture on there, isn't there? There's with, as you can see, with myself and John Charles, I got introduced to, he came with us, and which was good of the club to do that, because they know what he's, and you've never seen anything like it. The grown men were like crying in front of him. The adulation they had for him was incredible.
He played out there.
He played out there. He played in Italy. He played for Juventus. They actually loved him. It was incredible. So that was another picture I got over there, which was a special picture for me.
Had he gone as an interpreter or just as a figure to be with the club?
Just to be with us. Just with us, and part of it, probably quite clever actually, taking him with us. Be part of the squad going out there and just saying we brought him with us.
So the baseball ground, as we say, Alan Hinton, who never missed a penalty, did. No. You got the red card, and Juventus went on to the final. I think they lost to Ajax 1-0
yes, they did, yeah.
in the final. So you'd had a taste of European football, and that wasn't the only taste that you were going to get of it. We'll come to that in a little while. Derby go on, and there is a second championship. We've spoken about your 5 goals against Luton that took Derby to that championship. Which was the better team, 71-72 or 74-75? Lots of friends here to upset.
I know. I think they're both different styles. I think Brian's side was a bit tighter, but I think we'd have scored more with the lineup. Ours was more attacking, and I think we played a bit sharper football. There's myself, Franny, Kevin, Bruce Rioch. Bruce getting 20 goals from midfield. So we would score a lot of goals. But again, it's a hard question. Obviously, I might say yes, because I played in that one. But you look at that first one, what they achieved as an achievement was probably incredible. And the second one, you think when we have the change, Brian goes, Dave comes in, carries us over, and we don't lose anything. And the second season, it's like a bit of a little rebuild, and we go on to win it. But enjoyment-wise, I don't think there's anybody who's ever played football will say there's nothing better than winning the league. It's the most incredible, or the best thing I've ever done, or one of the best things in my life was winning that championship, and going around the ground, holding up that trophy aloft. It's incredible to think you are the top club in the country. I'm probably answering your question. I'm going to say 74, 75.
What did you think when you'd heard that Dave Mackay had signed for Annie Lee? Because I mean, England international, won titles and cups with Manchester City.
Well, I remember first reading it in the paper, thinking, "Oh, your place could be in jeopardy here, and you're not going to play." But I actually played 39 games. I think it's only Colin Bolton, maybe Toddy, played more in that season.
And it was 42 games a season, wasn't it?
I played 39. Started playing 39, so I was up there in most of the game. And it's what you call it. There's myself, Franny, Kevin playing as a 3, and also coming in at times would be Alan Hinton as a 4. As I say, Bruce from midfield. And I suppose there was strength all over. Henry came in, didn't he? They brought Henry in. You had Archie, who for us, could get from one end of the pitch to the other across a back 4 that was missing Roy. But Peter Daniels, come in and did a tremendous job substituting for Roy for most of the season. And as you know, getting the Player of the Year award. But the incredible part of that was being at your Player of the Year awards at Bailey's the night that Ipswich played at Manchester City, and Tony Francis, when it came from the curtain, said, "Derby County League champions." Well, what a place to be doing it at your awards night, and obviously you imagine the place just went up. But the best part of that is when we play Carlisle on the Saturday, who got relegated, we drew 0-0, and I'm sure that I don't think Francis Lee and Tomo had been to bed. I'm sure that.
I'm not sure any of you had.
No, it wasn't the best of performances, but I remember one of the few clubs we did a lap and only before the game, and I tell people we had these brand new tracksuits, this white tracksuit with champions pressed on the back, this white walk, and they're only just pressed on. So by the time we'd finished going around the pitch and doing all the stuff, I mean, there was letters hanging, it was champions and chumps and everything, all this stuff on the back of the shirts was on the back of the tracksuits. But it was a fabulous occasion.
If you think about team just down the M1 from us, Leicester City won the Premier League last year, and you think of when the Premier League trophy is presented, it is all so stage managed. You back to 1975 and the day the trophy is presented, I can picture it at the baseball ground, but as you say, we better get tracksuits on and get champions on the back. Yeah. It's so innocent.
Yeah, it was. And you think, how you doing? There's nothing specially going on, the television's not there, you're just lining up, they're bringing it out and giving you the cup, and you walk around with it. Everybody's enjoying it. And just say everything now is so stage managed, and is there any more money in this? Can we get anything money out of this? Well, I don't know, but I know.
Even the medal there, a little plaque with a bit of wood behind it.
Yeah, okay.
You have to look at it to see actually what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you probably get better than that now for winning the Derby Senior League or something. But it is special.
But that's special, isn't it?
It is. You look at players who've played at levels, and you think of the teams they've played for. Have they got one of them? No, they haven't. So that is, you have an elite group. I know there's a lot of them, but you have an elite group who wins one of those.
So that brings European football again. I nearly said Champions League. It brings European Cup football again, and it brings a tie, 2-leg tie against
Real Madrid. I'm going to say it doesn't happen, doesn't it? But Real Madrid did it again last year, didn't they, when they pulled it back? Obviously, Charlie's hat-trick was incredible that night.
So Derby take a 4-1 lead from the baseball ground. An unbelievable. You talk about the Benfica night being an incredible night. The Charlie George hat-trick against Real Madrid, and some of the top European names. Football is starting to get quite that players from other countries are going to different countries to play. So there were Germans in that, top German internationals in the Real Madrid side that played Derby that night.
Yeah, excuse me. They've started to do that now. They've started to bring players in, not just the Spanish players, they say, put a big German contingent in their side. and it was probably known as one of the top sides in the world. You beat them 4-1, and it was incredible. So he's taking that to Spain, thinking we've just got to see this through. If I'm honest, Carl, I thought there were still a few dodgy decisions in that game that cost us. Penalties early on, we find ourselves probably 2 down very early, and you question some of the decisions. But Charlie scored another cracker out there. Thinks that's the one that's going to see you through. But it went, 5-1 in the end, and you just can't believe what you've gone through, and you probably sit in the dressing room after the game wondering what's happened. It was a very, very disappointing evening for everybody concerned with the club.
Don't want to dwell on disappointments, but let's fast forward to April 1976, and one of the big disappointments for the club, and that's losing to Manchester United at Hillsborough, first semi-final, I guess, since winning the cup 30 years previously. And everybody piles up to Hillsborough, full of United fans, full of Derby fans. United, this up-and-coming team, but Derby are the team.
Yeah,
You didn't turn up, did you?
You go to a game that you look at the 4 teams that were left in it. We were favourites.
Yeah,
for the squad we've
Palace
got.
and Southampton the other
that's
semi.
right. That's right. And you think that one of those things, 99 times out of 100, we would have beat Manchester United in there. Even now, again, we can still argue Jack Taylor doesn't disallow Davies' goal when he's through and he's on his own day. Would it have been a different result? But on the day, there were so many of us, and clearly we didn't perform anywhere near we should have done. And that was probably one of the most disappointing, even at Real Madrid, I don't know, one of the most disappointing days of my life, of losing that semi-final and thinking you're going to an FA Cup final. Because I think we were so sure that we were going to win the game. I'm not saying that made a difference, but that's what football's about. And it was that young and up-and-coming Manchester United side. Gordon Hill got both goals, didn't he? The one did take the deflection off the free kick, but as I say, 99 times out of 100, we would have beat them on the day. But that was cup football, and it was very, very disappointing.
There was a possibility of a League and Cup double that season. If we go back to the November, Derby County against Leeds United at the baseball ground. It's always remembered for a little set-to between Franny Lee and Norman Hunter. Does that irk you slightly that actually your goal that you scored that day, an absolute top of the net, won the game, gets overshadowed?
I know it was the goal of the month. It was left footer, so it was a special one. It's one of those things you talk to people about. It's like playing the good golf shot or the good cricket shot. It was one of them, you just catch it right and it flew off, and it was past break. But it will get remembered for the fight, which was quite incredible because they've been at it all the way through the game. And Norman Hunter is a nice guy. He's a nice guy, but he tells stories about that when he went in at half time. He said Rev is having a go. He said, "Calm down, Norman." He said, "Calm down. She's going to get sent off. So just let it happen." It's as he walks away. He said that little Bremner's in my ear. He said he's taking the mickey out of you. He's having a go at you. He's got you where you want you. And he said Hunter's like this. He said when I go out second half, he said I'm like a cool spring. He said and it's going to happen. And Franny dived, didn't he? And next thing we know, there's the brawl. And the thing was, it was like Franny was like a windmill. The arms going, and Norman just went doink and split his lip. And Tomo said Franny didn't go upset until he stuck his tongue through his lip. But it went on forever. I mean, Roy had to go into the dressing room to calm him down, to stop him trying to get to Norman after. But you say that was 2 each when he went off. And I managed to get the one, say it was goal of the month, and the left foot, and we won 3-2. But that was just another episode in the Derby Leeds scenario, wasn't it? Every time we played them, it was physical. They were all, those games now you wonder how many players have been left on the pitch in the modern day.
The last day of that season saw Franny Lee hang up his boots, and I think you must have told me this story at an Ipswich hotel after one of our trips there when we both were with Radio Derby, about the final day. Franny scores, was it a hat-trick? Derby wins 6-1, 6-2.
Yeah.
And there were a few problems with the team bus.
Yeah, it's strange, isn't it? It's Franny's last game, so Franny never came on the bus. His Uncle Fred used to drive him in his Merc. So after the game, we were going to stop at this place for, did we Winchester on the way back? I can't remember, would it be there? Or, anyway, we stop in for a drink, some champagne, Franny's finishing. So we all get off the bus, walk into this place, ordered champagne. I don't think there was a lot left by the time we finished. And it weren't that long actually, about all these drinks. So out we come, walk back out, get on the bus, and it wouldn't start. And it didn't take long for people realised it's not going to start. Off they got, back into the hotel, start drinking again. You've played at Ipswich away. We actually dropped Dave off in Burton Joyce at 5:30 in the morning.
In the morning?
Yeah, 5:30 in the morning by the time we dropped him off. I mean, the coach was hilarious. And it was last time, but Franny had gone. It was really funny that happened. And obviously, having Dave with you, I mean, Dave's not going to walk away from a party like that, because Dave loved it, and that was a special occasion.
That really marked the end of you and Derby to start off with. And in the 70s, English players, British players didn't really go abroad to play, and yet you go to Belgium to play for Bruges. How did that come about?
I just got a phone call. Was it Des or whatever? You know, pre-season training, we just gone back in. How had we started? I don't know. It was a break between us going back from after pre-season and the season ending, and say we've had been asked about you from a club in Belgium, Club Bruges. And I'm thinking, you know, and when you do think about it later, what made me take up that? I don't know. Never know what made me take that up. I don't know. But I thought I showed some interest in it, and I thought, yeah, I'll go and have a look, see what it's all about. You know, football's football. And if I'm honest, it's one of the best decisions I ever made, Paul, to go and experience it. I went over to meet them, to speak to them. I remember on Friday morning, flew from Manchester. They were great, they were good with me, and they wanted me to go. So yeah, we agreed the deal to go from Derby, not probably knowing what's going to happen. But if I'm honest, it's one of the nicest, one of the best bunches of lads I've ever played with, socially. Everybody spoke English, so no need to learn Flemish, which was never going to happen anyway. The only part that couldn't speak English was the manager, Ernst Appel. But going on to a side, you think where Belgium are now producing footballers, I think back to the footballers that were the players that were in that side I was with, Club Bruges. And Bruges was a bit Scottish. It was Club Bruges or Anderlecht, vying for trophies. And becoming part of that, as I say, training was different mentality from what I'd experienced in England. We used to do a lot of our work. I mean, pre-season was different. We went away, went to Holland, a place called Zeist, training camp. Trained 3 times a day, up from 6 o'clock in the morning for your run. 11 o'clock another session in the afternoon, unless there was a night game, you didn't play. But the sessions, most of them were with a ball. A lot of the running was the ball, as opposed to just going to be used to a lot of running or whatever. And on Wednesday afternoon, we used to do running on the pitch where the doggies and stuff. And they used to call it our English training session, which was the difference. That was really good. So then the season starts. Didn't start that well for me, and suddenly it clicks again, and off you go. And it was really well, and a really successful season. We won the double, which is great in your first season. I got Belgian Player of the Year. So everything was great. And to cap it all, I played in Europe and beat Real Madrid.
So you finally got some...
I finally got something back that, yeah, we lost in the semi that year to an away goal at Borussia Mönchengladbach at home. It was another semi-final. But, you know, on the way through, we beat Real Madrid.
So you had 3 tastes of European Cup football?
1, 2, 4. Because I had the next year again at Bruges again.
Of course.
So 2 with Bruges and 2 with Derby. So yeah, I did. That's the worst part of the thing. I had a bit of a fallout with the manager. I can't remember what it's about actually now, which is so stupid. So we're playing on, we're going through, we're doing well in the league, we're doing well in Europe, I'm still leading scorer. I did a fallout and I decided I want to come home. So I'm getting phone calls and tapped up from different clubs. Get the chance to go to Leicester, who are not doing as well, you know, having the greatest season. But I think East Midlands, back home, easy for me. And I took up the offer. Frank McClintock signed me. Leicester, I went on to have a nightmare at Leicester. For whatever reason, I don't know. Leicester got relegated. Club Bruges went on to play in the European Cup final at Wembley against Liverpool. One of the decisions I look back on and thinking, that's not one of my best career decisions.
Yeah, so you you'd had the success with them, and so close to playing, as you say.
I played all the way up to the
Wembley. It was only a 1-0 win for Liverpool.
I did the TV with Tommy Smith. The game Dalglish scored, chipped it over the goalie. I played up to the semi then, so I was still in to score it for us. I just fallout and I came home, and I'm thinking I'm only looking at, I want to come home. But I would have been able to play at Wembley in the European Cup final. So, not the best decision.
I've tried to get you to talk about Leicester City before, but you just draw a blank.
Well, I feel, I mean, they've been great. I've been back a couple of times when we've played Derby, and I've been out on the pitch with Birch and done something, and I'm thinking, why should I be embarrassed to go out? And Birch said, they'll be okay with you. And they were nice to me. But you go in as a record signing, which was 330,000 at the time, which is nothing now, but as a record signing for Leicester at the time. And you're coming in, obviously Frank's brought you in, and you always, as we do, you look for when you're signing to come in is going to make a difference. First two games, my first game was against Derby actually, at Filbert Street. Second game was Ipswich away, they went okay. For some reason it went downhill after that, and it's the first time ever in my football career I lost my confidence. That you think about when the ball's coming to you, what you're going to do, instead of everything's just like that and you do it naturally. And this is me, I think, I hope it doesn't pass to me. You think, it's terrible, Colin. I never experienced it before. As I said, I just won, within Leicester, I have won Player of the Year in Belgium, Leicester Nightmare, go to America, get what they call the most valuable player. So within getting 2 Player of the Years, in the middle I've had a nightmare. So yeah, they're still nice, man. And probably one of their worst ever signings will go down as in Leicester, but hey-oh.
Tell us about going to the US of A then, late 70s, because this was where the big names in football, suddenly they discover soccer over there.
Yeah, soccer.
And so you've got Beckenbauer over there, the likes of Pele playing there, Bobby Moore playing there, and Roger Davies playing there.
I think it was, I'd always had this ambition anyway to go to America. I'd wonder what it was like. You'd only seen it on television. I wonder what it was like to go to America. It wasn't going well at Leicester. Alan Inson had gone out to Tulsa where he was coaching. David Nish had gone, who was my best mate. And players were going out there in the droves to America. Some had gone out on loans before. Colin Bolton was at Tulsa. So Alan, as he's in coaching, did take a lot of Derby players out to America. And he approached Leicester. Jock Wallace had come and told me, your mate's been in for you, but tell him he needs to up his fee if he wants to get you. And it actually worked, and we got the chance to go to Tulsa. So I went to Tulsa, and I say David was there, Colin was there, Alan was coach, Alan Woodward was there, Steve Hill was there, Donald O'Riordan came there, and just players kept coming out to America. So we had this first season in Tulsa, loved it. Just in America, it's in America anyway, when you're travelling all around America, which is incredible. You forget you're going to play a game, you go through 3 time zones, which was. So we did quite well. I think we got into the playoffs at Tulsa in the first season, lost to Minnesota. Then I came back, and in the break there, I came back and played in that loan spell back at Derby, which again is one of those things what you see, Derby County, I'm going back, brilliant. It's never the same when you go back.
Should it have been never go back, or were there moments in there that you did enjoy? Because just to put this into context, Derby are now on the slide out of the top division. I
enjoyed it because I'm back at Derby, and great coverage on my first day. I'm trying to think, who was it against? But I do remember, there's a couple of games I do remember that season. I do remember we were having a bad time, really struggling, and we had the Graham Ritchie, the 4-1 against Forest. That was a phenomenal game. And
this is European champions, Nottingham Forest, again soon to be relegated Derby, but you wouldn't have known that day.
We are having a nightmare of a season. We just can't. If we went a goal behind, that was it. Confidence has gone in the side. And we had this 4-1 win. And also I remember we had a 4-1 loss against Liverpool at home. I remember I scored a penalty after about 5 minutes. I think Trevor Wymart was brought down. Trevor Wymart plays, I say, went off at half time, never to play again. Got glandular fever, and he never played for Derby again. And we ended up 4-1. It was the first time ever in a game. I think I was counting their players. I thought they got more than us. But it was just, I think I scored a great own goal. I scored one at the end, then I scored the equaliser, I think. Alan Kennedy took a free kick, and he bent it in. So I'm back defending. As I've jumped to head it, and you suddenly realise you're facing goal. I think, oh, crikey. I headed it, and it went right in the top corner. And I'm thinking, John Middleton, where did we go? But yeah, it was a bad season. David Swindlers came in. I was going back to America anyway. Alan Barley had come in. You know, these players they're bringing in now, but Derby were on the slide. And on a big slide, I think, there was going to go even more. It was great to be back. It was great to be back in Derby, but it didn't work out. It wasn't the same. Sometimes you say, well, never go back. And in that meantime, Alan had left and gone to Seattle, Seattle Sounders. David had gone with him and players were moving in there, and he managed to take me from Tulsa to Seattle as well. Then we took in Bruce Ruck came in, Steve Daly, Kenny Hibbett, Tommy Hutchinson. The players we had at Seattle was incredible. Now the league is growing, as you say. Pelly had just finished, but Cruyff's there, Beckenbauer's there. You know, the names, Bestie's there. It is growing. The players are going out to play. And that first season there, we had a great time, and we got to Soccer Bowl. I lost in the final to the Cosmos, but we were pulling 55, 60,000 in this new sport that's in America, and you know they've gone well for it, and they still do in Seattle. Seattle, Vancouver, Portland, they pull massive crowds. It was then the NASL, which was the North American Soccer League. It's now the MLS. But it was a great time. I was there for 5 seasons. I enjoyed my time in America and playing against those. You know, there's a picture on there which I really love. As you can see at the back there, it was the awards evening, the dinner before the game.
Just tell us who's on that.
That's a team. I'm at the back in the middle with the black hair. That is me.
Dodgy hair there.
Next to me at the left-hand corner is Alan Hinton. In between us is Carlos Alberto. Brazil, best team ever, I think.
Yeah,
1970. Brazil, 1970s, the all-time best for me. Next to me is a guy called Giorgio Canaglia, Italian guy. Cosmos scored unbelievable amount of goals. Next to him, it was the goalkeeper of the year, Phil Parks, ex-Wolves, Lofty. That's an American goal on the left. Next to him in the middle there, Johan Cruyff, young lad American, and the out there, Franz Beckenbauer. So that picture does mean a lot to me to being part of that.
Could you have settled in America and lived there?
I decided I bought a house there. I bought my house there. Everything worked out, but the league was dropping. The league was going downhill, and I got cut. We had a new owner come into the Sounders, and when you sign contracts out there, I tried because they gave me a new contract after I got Player of the Year, and they upped my contract. I did have a good contract, but they won't give you what they call a no-cut clause, which means they can cut you when they like. They're not supposed to do it for financial reasons, but they can just say, get rid of you. And I wanted a no-cut clause, but nobody could get it. And this new owner came in, and new manager, and he cut me, because I was the highest paid player then, and I think the main match. Myself and Alan Hudson had the best contracts, and coincidentally, we both got cut. And I got chance I went to play at Fort Lauderdale. Nice place to go, Florida.
Absolutely.
Nice place to live. Play at Fort Lauderdale for the rest of that in season, moved down, and decided that the league was struggling. It was really going downhill. My son had been bought out there, he was 2. I think I've done 5 years out there. I'm ready to come home now. I was 1980, 31, 32 coming back, was I? Something like that. Decided to come home, sold my house, or someone sold it for me, and came back. So I enjoyed I enjoyed it out there. It was good to be part of it. And the players, you know, world-class players who have gone out there. And, you know, all the Dutch players are out there, the Cruyff's era that were out there. German players were out there of the good eras. So it was probably one of the best times to play in American football, American soccer as they call it. Came back, did a little bit, went to Burnley, I was going to play there, but I missed out playing it again because they got my clearance. So some weight fell away then after that, I don't know why I didn't play. Played up at Darlington for Cyril Knowles. And as you're dropping down there in division going, then you do realise you go and play at a place like Darlington. Not as a club, but when you've played your career at maybe the top end and places like Derby, you realise the difference at these clubs when you go down to the places like Darlington. So it was enjoyable, I played. And after that decided I'm going to finish football. No, I was not finished playing, but the pro probably come to an end. Kept on playing and obviously went back into industry.
Just before that, there's an England shirt up there with Roger
yeah.
Davies on. Where was that?
That was my one and only. On the table also, there's my one and only under-23 cap. And that's my under-23 shirt, which I got against Scotland, played at Newcastle. You know, the players who were up there. I actually, what's his name? I roomed with the guy. The little guy was captain of Tottenham. He's now at Texaco, isn't he?
Oh, Steve Perryman?
Steve Perryman. I roomed with Steve Perryman. He was part that era, was the ones that were there. And it was great. He got the phone call. Can you go and join the England squad at, well, God, I made my way up to there, under 23 squad. It's a one and only, and I got in and I did play. And I did enjoy it, but it's incredible. You know, you've suddenly come as again from non-league, and suddenly you've got this England under 23, the England only shirt I've got, and the one cap I've got. Any more than that, it's just being greedy. It's a bonus. But I did enjoy it, and that was fabulous for me. Whatever you say, I've got it, it's there, and you've represented the country at one level.
So the professional career is over, and now you've got a day job, a real job, a proper job.
Well, I go.
Was it a shock?
Was it? I'm actually running Gresley Rovers, managing playing. I took a lad to play, the goalkeeper, he was taking with us, and he worked at Rolls-Royce. I just have to say, do they have any vacancies there? Because I've been engineering. And he did some work for me, and I got a chance to go for an interview at Rolls-Royce, and got the job. And I went in as a machinist, not many managerial ones, a machinist. Stuff I'd done, so I was working shifts, machining. Everybody used to talk to me, obviously, because they were full of Derby fans. And I went in, and I'm on a machine, working 3 shifts. It didn't bother me, it was great. You've got to do something, you know. I'm not one of these people who are thinking football owes you something. I've had my time, I've enjoyed it, it's been good, but I've got to do something, you've got to live. But I was still playing at Gresley, managing Gresley, I was still playing on Sundays, I was still playing a lot of football, doing a lot of charity football, which I was running the ex-Ram side. So I kept on playing for a long, long time, and gradually I moved up the ladder a bit. And, I thought I saw my form, and I thought, well, I fancy to go with that, getting the management side, and as it worked out, I went in and worked for the management side and was shift manager, and enjoyed it. You know, people working for me, I enjoyed it. I had 25 years, so I got my badge and all that from my pen and everything, my certificate. Yeah, I did 25 years. No, I didn't find it hard, Carl, no. I started going back to something. I didn't think football owed me anything. But in the meantime, obviously, that Colin Tunnicliffe had brought me back to Derby doing it. He said, you fancy doing a little bit on Saturdays? It was underneath the stand at the baseball ground. There was this room where people used to go and eat. Just go and do a little talking. I thought, I've never done it before, but I'll go and give it a go with Tunners. It went good, and then it took me on working, and when I started to change things and lounges, and I started to do it. So I've never really gone away that much. You know, my connection with Derby, the spell away in America and in Belgium, but I've always been there on match days, doing lots of other things for them in lounges before anybody else was in. You know, we started trying to get other players in, but they'd come and go, and I was a constant. And I'm still there now, still doing the same. And Mel gave me the opportunity, when I retired from Royce's, to be a club ambassador, which was I was thrilled to take up the role. It was strange because I retired from Rolls-Royce on Friday and took up a role as an ambassador on a Monday. And it's great. You can't believe it. It's a job. You know, football anyway is not a job. It's something you do. It's something you love doing. You do it anyway. But to be part of playing at levels, you know, to be a professional footballer, it's got to be the best job in the world. And I've probably got the second best job now, being as an ambassador for a football club. A lot of mine is working with fans, going out to meet fans like Dolly, 107, lots of birthday, a lot of older fans. Sometimes there's some nice stuff with funerals and fans dying. But it's all fan related. You know, Mel is really into his fans, as we know things about Premier League tickets and all that. He's done lots of things that other chairmen haven't done. So he really is, he wants to, you know, get close to his fans, and that's why in the moment you have myself, you have Roy and Jono, and I think Mark may be coming on board as well, that we have all these ex-players being part of, we can get in and be part of the fan base. You know, because I've said it so many times, and I've said it that we have this remarkable fan base at Derby. You know, we're not the biggest city in the world, but we easily pull this 30,000 fans week in, week out. And they turn up, and we do have what I call a lot of mature fans who have been there through everything, thick and thin, they've seen it all, but they stayed loyal and stayed with us.
It amuses me that you describe as a young boy in the Wolverhampton area, Derby want to sign you, and you don't really know where Derby is. And yet, 40 odd years later, whenever anybody meets you, you just eulogise about Derby, and it became your home, and it's become your life.
Very much so. And so many of us, though, I don't know what it is, you know, as Roy will often talk about it, how many of us are still here. It's got to be something to do with Derby. It can't just be a coincidence. I'm still here, Roy's still here, Kevin's here, Archie's here, Henry's here. You know, none of those guys are from Derby. And you can still keep relating. I can relate loads and loads of them and move to Derby. And, you know, the career moves on. And do they leave? No, they stay here. So it's got to be something to do with the people in Derby. It's got to be something special. But yeah, I've done that for a while. You know, we had great years together at Radio Derby. Very, very enjoyable. Very lucky to have worked with you know, our friend Colin, who's no, God bless him, is no, you know, the stick we used to give him, you know, sometimes, and the laughter we used to have at his expense. But he used to take it from us, and it was brilliant. And that was good fun. It wasn't just doing, you know, the commentary, it was fun. We had a laugh when we did it, so that was another part. I really enjoyed that. I've done lots of other things through Derby, Rampage Radio, you remember that coming on, things we tried to do. The club has always tried to move on. And what I do like about coming, you know, it's even now when you go into town, you go shopping, people will always stop and talk to you. And people are like, well, do you like being recognised? Of course you like being recognised, and I think we all do. And it's nice, and you talk, and I walk away, and sometimes I'll say, who's that? I say, I don't know. I might know the face, but I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. You know, you talk to them regularly, and I will go on about this club, because it's been, Wolves is still going to be part of my, because you never lose that for the team you lose, because, you know, Roy's Liverpool, and stupid old Kevin is still a Leeds fan. I think we'll give him a lot of jip about that anyway. But, you know, Roy still likes his Liverpool, but we are Derby County through and through, and you know, we want success for this football club. It's these roller coasters. We do get frustrated. If you see Roy and I in the director's box and on match games, you will hear us shouting, and Roy's worse than me sometimes. It's one of the players can't hear him. But it's because we only want this club to do well, like everybody else does.
Raj, it's been fab to talk to you.
Thanks, Colin. Brilliant, brilliant.